Hey guys, today I'm going to be talking about my coming out experience. It's 9:48 p.m. and I've been avoiding filming this all day. Since yesterday, actually, if I'm being honest. So, there's that. Not something I generally like talking about. So my coming out wasn't so much of a coming out as it was a dragging out by pretty much everyone in my life. I guess I'll start with school. So in school, I never really made friends that easy. Most of my friends were girls, and obviously that gets you teased when you're a boy. But I got teased for that a lot. As the years went by, it just got worse and worse and worse. Probably around 4th grade is when things really started going bad. There was this girl who did not like me. And, in fairness, I didn't like her, but that was more as a reaction to her not liking me. Because, honestly, I didn't really care too much about anyone at school. I had my friends, and I loved them, and I cared about them, but beyond that, I didn't really care. I left everyone alone. I kept to myself. This girl, she just did not like me for whatever reason. And so she bullied me. And she was the first person that I remember asking me if I was gay. And I remember saying no, because I didn't know what it meant. But what she did caught on quickly, because she was very popular. And I was not. So, pretty soon, my whole grade, pretty much, was at least, the popular kids. And whoever, wanted to be like them. Eventually, things got so bad that our parents were called in. And the bullying from her more or less stopped. But by that time, my whole grade was regularly asking me, "Are you gay? Do you like boys? Why are all your friends girls?" And that continued through 5th grade, and 6th grade, and 7th grade. These questions really damaged me. I never really got to discover who I was. I got told who I was. And when you're told this is who you are, before you even know what that means, you kind of tend to fight against it. Because clearly everyone's making a big deal about it. And so naturally, being a private person, I did not want anything to do with it. And that carried on for a long time. A very long time. I was probably 14 before I kind of started being okay with it. But it was definitely another year, maybe 2 after. There was never really a time that I thought being gay was wrong, but it was, for the longest time, something that I didn't want for myself. All it had done up to that point in my life had been separating me out from everyone in my grade. Well, just about everyone. There was maybe a couple other gay guys, but they were popular, so they got left alone, more or less. As far as I know, I'm the only one that got pushed into the lockers regularly or into the stairs on a couple notable occasions from the bottom floor. But still, being pushed into stairs is not very fun. I would get shoved down the hall, tripped, shoved into the walls. I'd have my stuff taken from me. School wasn't the best time for me. After 7th grade, I told my parents I couldn't do it anymore. I didn't give them a reason. I just told them that I didn't want to go back. That I really didn't want to go back. At the time, I was extremely depressed and suicidal, and things were just all around not good. So I was homeschooled from that point on, and things there got better, I thought. We did this kind of combination of homeschool, charter school thing. So basically, I did some classes with other kids my age, but most of the work I did on my own, out of books, which was not the best thing. It was fine. I got what I needed done, but I never got the completion for most or all of it, really. So for all intents and purposes, I'm a middle school dropout, which, doesn't feel that great. It wasn't until I'd been out of school for maybe 2 years that I was comfortable enough to really embrace myself. And even then, it wasn't easy for me. Getting to that point took a lot of time and a lot of effort. But I got to that point after what was probably the worst coming out. So it was probably when I was 15 or 16 when I was offered the chance to go spend a couple weeks with some family. And I like to go places, I like to travel, so I went for it. Well, when I got there, the first night was whatever. We got settled in because it was late. But the next day, we went into the city and we went to a restaurant. And as we were walking to the restaurant, I remember feeling kind of uneasy. Like, I don't know. I just felt nervous. So we get to the restaurant and we order, and my cousin turns to me and says, I just have to ask, are you gay? By this point, I had told myself if I was asked directly, I would say yes. So I said yes. I came out to them, and life went on. But on the ride to the airport to go home, one of my family members tells me, hey, you should talk to your parents. They want to know what's going on. And I remember thinking, isn't this supposed to be on my time? And my other family member who was in the truck at the time said basically that, just take your time. But when I got home, things feel different. While I was off, I learned some family secrets, and those came out. Well, I brought them out because I wanted to be left the hell alone. So that didn't really go as planned. That kind of led to a big screaming match where all I really remember of it is my mother yelling at me, is this because you're gay? And all I could think was, no, why aren't you listening to what I'm saying? Because what I was talking about had nothing to do with anything about that. And so it's at this point that I realize, okay, so basically I have no agency over this at any point in my life. And that kind of really pissed me off, honestly. And if I'm being honest, that moment really kind of pushed back any personal development I might have had in regards to my sexuality. It really made me not want anything to do with anything for a while. I never really got that time to really get to know myself. My whole life has been just filled with people telling me what I am, who I am. what I want. When you don't really get that chance to learn who you are yourself, it kind of makes you wary about letting people in. I had already been a generally private person, throughout school with all the bullying. I never told anyone about it, because obviously you don't want to tell everyone you're getting bullied because you're gay, even if you don't really know if you are. It's not that I don't know who I am. I know who I am now. It's more that I spent so long with everyone telling me who I was that I very quickly realized that people are just selfish. Everyone's selfish. I'm selfish. It's human nature, but I never really got the chance to, date or go to dances or have friends. Being gay kind of ruined my life for a good portion of it. And I say that not as in it currently does, because it hasn't. I have a life now. I'm happy with my life now. But I remember there were times throughout that long period where I wasn't okay or wasn't comfortable with myself, where there were brief moments of clarity or not self-loathing, rather. But those moments weren't the norm. Those moments weren't my typical until probably when I was 17. Being dragged out of the closet really damaged my relationships. It really showed me that we're all kind of in it alone. We all have our own things going on, and time doesn't stop just because we don't want it to keep going. After that moment, I really kind of pulled back in a lot of ways. I remember after that moment kind of just being like, I don't really want anything to do with anyone anymore. And so for a good long time, I made that my goal, and things were fine. I wasn't really happy. I wasn't really sad. Things were just how they were. But that moment, it really kind of pulled me more into myself more than anything else. I never really got that chance to learn how to be gay around my family, if that makes any sense. So when I got a boyfriend, I didn't really talk about it. They just kind of figured after he kept coming around a lot. I don't really talk about it. I feel like because I didn't ever get the chance to come out properly, that I don't really feel like I have. Does that make sense? Because I never really got the chance to become comfortable with myself around my family, it's led to me feeling this disconnect from them more than anything else. I never really got the space that I needed, ever, as long as I can remember. Not in school, and then not at home. I never got the space to learn how to be who I am. But that's okay. There's no doubt that being gay has made my life harder. But I say that, and I know that if I wasn't gay, I wouldn't be half the person I am now. If I didn't feel so isolated from my peers for as long as I can remember, I think it would have taken a long time for me to find the sense of personal strength that I have now. I don't let things stand. When there's something wrong, I say something. And I think a lot of that has to do with the fact that no one else did that for me. No one once told the kids in my grade, hey, leave him alone. And I mean, I grew up in Texas. I might have been in North Texas, and it might have been a fairly progressive-ish area, given the fact that it was near college, but that didn't really trickle down into elementary school or into middle school. I think that being gay has changed my life in a lot of ways that if I hadn't been, it would be different. But at the end of the day, it's really not all that big of a deal. It's not the most interesting thing about me. It's not the first thing I would say about me. Then again, it's probably a better thing that I went through what I went through in school rather than now. I feel like if I had grown up somewhere where being gay was more okay and I was bullied less, I don't think I would have the strength that I have now. Now that I'm older, it's a lot easier for all of those things to kind of brush off. They just roll off. But I think a lot of that has to do with what I went through in school. You know, when I have to make a phone call, I don't lose it when I get called a ma'am, which is pretty much every time I have to use the phone, which is why I try not to. So yeah, that's my coming out story. It's not really very happy. It's not a very happy story, but that's what I have. If you've got a coming out story, leave it down in the comments. I'd love to hear them. Please like this video. It would help out a lot. Subscribe if you want to keep hearing more ramblings from me, because I am good at that. I'm good at rambling. But yeah, thanks for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye.